What do the empty shelves, food shortages look like here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? We're going to go out to the stores and see some pictures for ourselves. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar, an accountant by trade, but we're going to look at some basic store shelves and just see what's missing, discuss what's going on with that. Let's jump right into it. Going to Walmart, Aldi, as well as Shop and Save. Memorial Day weekend is upon us, but I did go shopping before Memorial Day hit, so these pictures are slightly old, just because I wanted to get out to the stores before all the craziness, wackiness of Memorial Day happened. First things first, let's look at the pet food at Walmart. Dog food looks pretty well stocked. Cat food, dry cat food is a little worse off. There's some varieties that were out, particularly Friskies. But once we look at the canned food, you'll see the real issues. A whole lot of Friskies, 78-cent canned cat food is just AWOL. You'd have a lot less selection than you'd like probably, unless you buy the giant multi-packs, and even then the selection is relatively limited. A lot of you have been mentioning that there's still issues with the canned cat food, and as you can see on the store shelves with your own eyes, yeah, that's true. When I looked at other paper products, paper plates seem to be relatively well stocked. This is the paper towels. There were a bunch of open bays in the paper towel section that didn't have anything in it, as you can see. Toilet paper, I mean, there were some bays that were a little light, but by and large, this whole aisle was fairly well stocked. You might not get your first pick of kind that you want or whatever, but there were lots of different options. There's generic, there's name brand, all that kind of stuff. Sugar has been a bit of an issue, and we're seeing in the news that sugar is moving into shortage, so just keeping an eye on that, but it looks good for now, at least here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Gold medallion flour continues to kind of struggle a little bit because of the recall of flour across the U.S. The gold medallion flour for a number of days worth of production, so that did take a bit of a hit, but there's plenty of generic on the shelf, so as long as you're willing to kind of compromise on that, you shouldn't have a problem. Or if you just get there early in the day, it looks like they are having stock. Vegetable oils, canola, soybean, those are fairly well stocked. You can even get peanut oil, generic. Still not seeing too much sunflower oil out there due to the shortage of that, so it used to be on the shelves all the time. A lot of these vegetable oils are fronted, so if you look carefully, you can kind of see that a lot of that stock is pulled forward, not restocked, but rather just shifted around in place, kind of showing that that they didn't have stock to put on the shelf when they were addressing that. There seems to be issues with non-iodized generic salt. So there's name brand, iodized and non-iodized, and then there is iodized generic, but if you're looking for canning or whatever like that, and you want the non-iodized generic salt, they were completely wiped out here. When it comes to Quaker oats and oatmeal and such, fairly well stocked. That's been kind of, on off again, on again kind of issue. They've been struggling to kind of keep the oatmeal on the shelves. And pasta, yeah, once again, having some issues here. That's the rotini. I don't know if everyone's just stocking up for their pasta salads, but usually Walmart doesn't get caught flat-footed on this kind of stuff because, if everyone wants to buy pasta right before Memorial Day, Walmart will usually be ahead of that kind of thing. If it happens every year. So not sure why that's like that, but rotini, both multicolor and regular rotini, just like wiped out. But the rest of the pasta seem to be fairly well stocked, so that is what it is. So if you're looking for get some stuff for pasta salads this weekend, good luck with that. Mashed potatoes. We're still seeing issues in the mashed potato section. You'll see this a little more over at Aldi as well. But the big boxes of generic mashed potatoes and the big boxes of Idahoan potato flakes, they're down or missing. We do seem to have name brand bags of potato flakes, flavored stuff here, but we'll see a little more over at Aldi on that one as well. Meat section. Notice this little Cuisinart pot mitts suddenly strategically appears right in front of the Keystone beef section that is noticeably vacant. There is like 1 can or 2 cans there. There is a lot less. And if you're like, oh, well, that's just happenstance that happens to be there, friends, Walmart's a little too smart for that. They tend to put these little things right in front of, I've seen them do it dozens of times now, put it strategically in front of something they don't want to sell or something they're low on. And so that's suddenly in front of the Keystone beef. And notice also that like that hasn't ever been there any other week. Like that just appeared out of nowhere. Something's up with that. And low on the Keystone beef. There seems to be a little bit of issues with the corned beef hash, but nothing super serious just yet. Not really showing up on the Walmart side of things, but definitely struggling over on the Aldi side. Vienna sausages seem to be fully restocked now. They're still getting some of the individual cans, some of the flavors back on the shelf, but of course they had that massive Vienna sausage recall back in like late winter, and it's been a while coming back off of that. Also, you'll see at the very top there the canned hams have reappeared, so that's cool. That's cool. Those canned hams are, I would say, the most akin to having ham. It doesn't have quite as much texture, but at least the flavor is not too far off. So I mean, like Spam and all that kind of stuff is what it is, but the canned hams, those are, you know, you pop them in the oven. I mean, you can imagine you're eating a fresh ham. You can imagine it. It just kind of mushed together though. So, and it lasts forever, just like the Spam. Rice and beans, as you can see right there, fairly well stocked with that. There's still time to stock up. As long as there's stuff on the shelves, folks, there's time to stock up. Vinegar, obvious issue right there that we've been kind of tracking for a while. Once again, that's the industrial side that's causing problems. And so the industrial side is basically pulling acetic acid from the food side over, and of course you can't move the petroleum created acetic acid over to food. The food ones have to be made from grain and other products. Peanut butter, just want to kind of throw that up there. Not too many issues with that we know of. Jam, of course, having the same kind of issues, just certain varieties just not available. Like we showed on the previous video this week about Smuckers, that they just had issues with their blackberry and black raspberries harvests, and so they just didn't make it. Canned fruit, continue to just see some spotty outages there. Coffee, video just came out yesterday about coffee, the coffee shortage that's coming at us. 3 years of bad harvests in Brazil, a couple years of issues in Vietnam. They just have low stocks, low inventory all over the place. But will we actually see shortages? We'll probably see more like spotty outages here and there, that bullwhip effect. But tea, I haven't really dug into this just yet, but for the last couple weeks, been seeing the tea aisle at Walmart's just wiped out. They just not getting the inventory in or something, or maybe everyone's just running out and making sweet tea. But you know, This video is brought to you by Genesis Gold Group. So if you're interested in moving your retirement funds out of stocks, bonds, whatever you got it in, over to something tangible like gold, silver, platinum coins in a vault, you want to talk to Jonathan and his team. They do a fantastic job. Christians, and they can talk to you about stewardship on that too. They have good values. That's why we partner with them. All right, frozen potatoes, a little lower than usual, but not too bad. Frozen pizzas, I would say on the lower end of stocked up, but not too many outages. And of course, the snacks and breads aisle in the frozen food section just still kind of struggling. Bottled water looked a lot better this week than it did last week and the week before. There were some issues with bottled water before. Still not as full as we'd like to see it, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah. The sour cream, anything milk-based is just kind of not fully on. So sour cream, we've been kind of watching that, and there have been some weird things happening with like the French onion dip. Like, I don't know if Hella Good is just like buying up all of the sour cream and today we actually see a little bit of generic French onion dip here, and when we go over to Aldi, you'll see kind of something along those lines. I heard from some of you guys talking about the generic Walmart sodas, and I was kind of like, well, I haven't seen really too much going on here as I walk past there and stuff. But today, definitely something going on there. Not sure what they're doing, if they're rebranding or just gonna stop selling generic sodas. Who knows? Maybe it's just they're just losing money. This is over at Aldi. So as you can see, they don't have their Happy Farms or whatever. They're Friendly Farms, Aldi brand. They have just Hell of a Good French onion dip. It's been weeks of them not having French onion dip at all there. And, you know, they usually have the real cheap stuff that just, you know, kind of went with some stuff. Also here at Aldi, they did not have their in-house corned beef hash anymore. And so this is a much more expensive Hormel brand, Mary Kitchen, and larger cans, but that's a lot more. It was more like $2 to $3 or whatever for a can, and that's a good bit more. Over in the instant mashed potatoes, notice that they were out of Idahoan, so no name brand, and the only generic that they had was roasted garlic flavor. They usually have 3 cheese and plain as well, but that was not the case. They used to have loaded baked potato too, I think. Their vegetable oils, their soybean oil, notice that there's nothing behind that. Usually they're stacked 2 deep and then also stacked on top of each other, but they just have a lot less soybean oil than usual there. Just some spotty outages in the freezer section, ground beef patties, steak cut fries, so frozen potatoes. And then they just had a lot less chocolate. I just saw a bunch of holes over as I was walking past the chocolate aisle. So I don't know that that's a thing just yet, but enough for me to start looking into that going forward if you guys are seeing anything, shortages out there with chocolate or anything like that. This is over at Shop and Save. So that's a local grocery store here in Pittsburgh, and I think it's kind of pretty regional. I'm not sure if it's fully nationwide, but Shop and Save, yeah. Anyway, so they had those are the big number 10 cans. I was like, I got kind of excited looking at the number 10 can section. I was kind of like, oh, I might want to stock up. Yeah, number 10 can of tomato paste. That goes a long way. Lots of interesting ideas with that. Number 10 cans, folks, are fantastic. Make sure you have a can opener for them. If you're cooking for lots of people, that's a great way to go, number 10 cans. That's how a disaster relief and stuff like that cooks in these industrial kitchens. They'll use number 10 cans like nobody's business. Canned beans, you can see for yourself there. Mushrooms, canned mushrooms. noticeably short, and there's no sales there or anything. Hey folks, we found all the Campbell's soups. They're all at Shop and Save. That's where they are. Those are like fully stocked, fully stocked. And then there's like a whole bank of the smaller regular Campbell's soups on the left. It was just it was very impressive. But a little highly priced for me, but my blood. But pasta section, name brand was a little better stocked than the generic over there. The generic's in the red over there. And the green, I believe, too. I think the green's like a healthy option or something. Pasta sauces, generic, going away a lot faster. Down on the ground there, there's jars down there where the generics, and then of course the name brands being a little better stocked. Rice, you know, you can get stocked up pretty good on rice there too. Those are 10-pounders for $5. That's not too shabby. There was quite a bit of flour there all along the bottom shelf there. Fairly well stocked with the gold medal stuff and everything. So the vegetable oils were a little bit fronted, but not too terribly so. You can see some of them are pulled forward, and but they had a pretty good selection there. Sugar was pretty well stocked as well. So all in all, Shop and Save was looking pretty good. I looked at the paper aisle. The paper plates were a little bit less. Butters and margarines and stuff like that, they had some issues here and there. It's hard to tell with them because they got all those sales going on, which is kind of why I was there, is because they had the Memorial Day sale. Folks, if you have not gone out and done some Memorial Day weekend shopping, today is a good day. Recommend Monday, of course, spending some time in remembrance of those who gave their lives for the United States country. If you're inside the United States, if you're outside the U.S., I think a number of other countries have Memorial Day this day as well. But great Memorial Day sales. You can get a lot of food for cheap, so that's nice. We got frozen potato issues over at Shop and Save as well, of course. And frozen pizzas, they had a couple that were out. Those were the pizzas that they were missing. Other pizzas were a little lower, but that's not too terrible. So Shop and Save looked fairly well. Some of the same issues seen at multiple stores. Please do keep your reports coming on what you guys are seeing at your shelves. Just use the word update and any comment on any video, as well as give us some sort of geographical location and let us know what you are seeing at your store. You can always email me also at poplarpreparedness@gmail.com. You can find that information on the description or on the channel page. And of course, if you want to catch up-to-date news, you can always check out thepoplarreport.com. Fantastic site that we're managing. We're starting to bring some help on board to help manage that. We're going to get more and more fresher updates populating that website. There is a link to that website right on the screen right now. So if you want to go right over there and check out the news, it's right there for you. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Steve Poplar, out.